Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are ready with your English textbooks for the second session of To Serve with Love. Today, Madam Rupa, Mrs. Rupa, PGT English, working at Telangana Model School, Bommal Ramaram, Yadadri district, will take up her second session of To Serve with Love by Mr. Braithwaite. You all have seen how Sir was able to imbibe certain etiquettes in the children. So we'll see further what happens in their classroom. Now I request Mrs. Rupa to take over and continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, children. I welcome you once again to the webinar session meant for the senior intermediate children. And as you already know, I have taken up Module 5, Unit 9, and I am dealing with the prose session. And the title is To Serve with Love, written by E.R. Braithwaite. I have done already the part 1 with you, children. So let's little brush up. Okay? To Serve with Love. And this is the author E.R. Braithwaite, and we have seen the characters of E.R. Braithwaite, who is the teacher, Mrs. Dale Evans and Mr. Weston, and we have seen the characters of Mrs. Pamela Dare, Potter and Senham, and we are going to see the new character Miss Joseph in this session again. And now we'll get started. Before we start, we are going to reiterate what we have done. In the first session, we have seen how the new teacher enters the class and how he was handling the ill-mannered children, and we have seen what way his efforts in building up good relationship with those children, and we have ended up with the incident of Miss Pamela Dare opening the door and entering into the class, and the teacher has asked her to show the decent way of opening the door and entering into the class. So after that incident, now what happens next in the class? You all are interested, I know, children. So let's get started. Okay, now thank you. As from today, there are certain courtesies which will be observed at all times in this classroom. Myself, you will address as Mr. Braithwaite or Sir. So after the incident of Mrs. Pamela Dare showing the decent way of entering into the room, now the Sir said thank you to her. And now what is he telling? He's telling that from that day onwards, from that moment, the students are going to follow certain courtesies. What are those courtesies? Means they are going to behave in a very polite manner. And he is talking about one particular thing. What is that? How they are going to address him. Very first thing. What he wants, he's telling them to address him as Mr. Braithwaite or Sir. Now here he's telling, myself you will address as Mr. Braithwaite or Sir. The choice is yours. The young ladies will be addressed as Miss, and the young men will be addressed by their surnames. So he left the choice to the students only. He told, children, you can call me Sir or you can call me as Mr. Braithwaite. And when it comes to the young ladies, he is being very particular. He is telling, you must address them as Miss, and he's telling the young men should be addressed by their surnames. What is the surname, children? And the surname is the name that we hold. That is a family name which is carried forward. For example, if I say it's Panduga Naveen, okay, Naveen is the name of the student and Panduga is the surname. So here also in this context, he's telling all the young men have a surname. So everyone should be addressed using their surname. So this is the first and foremost thing. He is making it very clear how they are going to address each other in the class. I hadn't planned any of this, but it was unfolding all by itself, and I hoped fitting into the place. So, what is the teacher E.R. Braithwaite saying? He's telling that he did not plan any of this, that he is going to talk about this topic, he's going to talk about this. He did not have any plan of any topic he was going to talk in the class. Whatever was taking place in the class was just happening all by itself. Okay, and what is the thing of surprise is that everything was apt for the situation. Everything was happening in such a way that was suitable for that particular situation. And now what happened when he said how they are going to address each other and how they are going to address himself as a teacher? What is the reaction of the children? There was a general gasp at this from boys and girls alike. Means the reaction of the girls and the boys was the same. What was that? The reaction was everyone was in a shock. Here, gasp means you are going to hold your breath. How? And open your mouth. This is how when you're showing shock, when you're showing your surprise. So everybody is shocked because they are not used to this way of addressing each other. Now, one of the student is coming to protest. Now, who is that? We'll see. Potter was the first to protest. So, who is that student? You can see in the slide, children. The one who is standing is the student by the name Potter. What did he do? He protested. Protested means he is against, he is in opposition with, he is against the way of addressing what the teacher has told. So he has an objection. So he is protesting it. He is against it. So what is he doing now? Let's see. Why should we call him Miss? We know M. So what is he telling? What is his objection? He is telling, why should we call the young ladies as Miss? Because just now the teacher, E.R. Braithwaite, said that you should call the young ladies by their, by telling them, by calling them or by addressing them as Miss. So he is putting out a point here. What is he telling? Why should we call them Miss? Because we know them. Here the short form is used, children. This is actually not short form. This is the old style of writing them. Okay, M means them. Okay, he's telling we know those young girls. Okay, why should we call them Miss? Okay, that is his objection. Now, what Mr. Braithwaite is telling us: what is your name? Then the answer came Potter. Then again the sir is insisting and asking, what? I beg your pardon. Miss, this is used when you are not able to understand, children. I beg your pardon, miss, if I'm not able to get what you are trying to tell, or if I'm not understanding, or if I did not hear properly what you're telling, then what do we say? I beg your pardon. So what do we expect? We expect you to repeat the same thing again so that I can understand. Okay, the other person can understand. So here the teacher uh, wanted some, he was expecting something. So he said, I beg your pardon. Not that he did not understand or not that he did not hear what he told, but he was expecting something else. Okay, what is that he was expecting? Any guesses, children? Because just now he spoke about what, children? He spoke about addressing himself. He gave the choice to the children that they can address him as Mr. Braithwaite or Sir. Here the student just told his name, Potter, but he did not address the teacher. So that is where the teacher had an objection. That's why he said, I beg your pardon. Okay, not that he did not hear his name or not that he didn't understand what he told. Okay, here he was expecting something. What is that? Addressing of the teacher was missing there. So, Potter, sir. The sir was somewhat delayed. So, again, now Potter understood what the teacher was expecting and he said, Potter, and with a pause, somewhat delayed, means there was a gap between telling his name and usage of sir. Potter, sir. So there was a gap there between these two words. So then what happened, you see? Thank you, Potter. One thing, the sir thanked him. Why? Because what sir was expecting, what the teacher was expecting, that he had to be addressed either by his name or by using sir. So here Potter understood what the teacher was expecting and he used the word sir there. So the sir also told thank you to him, and because he was happy, he was glad, because Potter made it a point to follow the instruction of the teacher by addressing him as sir. Now what happened next? Now, is there any young lady present whom you consider unworthy of your courtesies? So he's posing a question. He's putting a question to whom? Potter. What is asking? Potter, do you think there is any young lady in your class whom you think is unworthy? Unworthy means does not deserve respect. Means does not deserve to be respected. You need not use the word miss and show your respect towards that particular young lady. Is there anyone? Is there any such young lady in your class? Now look at the response of Potter. Sir. He said only just sir. There was no other word. Now what again the teacher is telling, you see, is there any one of these young ladies who you think does not deserve to be addressed as miss? So again he is reiterating, means again he is repeating his question by saying, what do you think there is any young lady whom you think who should not be given respect and whom you think should not be addressed as miss? Now let's see what is the going to happen. With one accord, the girls turned to look at Potter as if daring him. So, now what is the reaction of all the girls you see? Because the teacher asked one question. What was that question? Do you think there is any young girl in your class whom you think you should not give respect to? Then what is the reaction of all the girls you see? All the girls with one accord means all of them means all the girls were reacting in the same way. What is their reaction? All the girls eyes were fixed at Potter. Their eyes were showing the same expression. What is that expression? See here in the video, you can see all the girls' eyes are fixed towards Potter. So what is the expression of their eyes? Their eyes were giving a signal. Their eyes were speaking. Their eyes were sending a sign to Potter. What? Dare not you tell Potter that any young lady in this class is not worthy of giving respect. That is the warning signal they were sending through their eyes to Potter, that be careful. You will dare not tell sir that yes, there is a girl in our class who doesn't need respect. So a warning signal was sent. That was the reaction that was shown by all the girls. Now what is the reaction? What is the reaction of Potter to this? We'll see. He quailed visibly before their concerted eyes and said, no sir. So he quailed. Quail means he showed fear. What was the reaction on seen on Potter's face? He showed that he was scared. His eyes showed the expression of fear. His face turned as if he was scared by the looks of the girls because they were sending a warning signal. Be careful. Okay. So that fear was seen in Potter's face very clearly. And before the concerted eyes means concerted means coordinated, because all the eyes of the girls coordinated and all the eyes of the girls gave a single expression of what? A warning to Potter. So he got scared, he showed fear, and he said, what was the reply that Potter gave to sir? He gave no sir. Means what did he mean? He meant that in our class there is no young girl whom we should not give respect to. Everybody needs to be given respect. All are worthy of giving respect. That was the answer. You should remember, Potter, that in a short while all of you may be expected to express these courtesies as part of your jobs. It would be helpful to you to become accustomed to giving and receiving them. Okay, now what is the sir telling? Mr. Braithwaite saying, he's telling, you must remember what? You must keep this in mind. Don't forget. What is that? That from within 6 months, after 6 months of schooling over here, you all will be becoming adults. You will be taking up the jobs. So there also you are expected to show these courtesies. Okay, you have to follow these manners. You have to be giving respect and taking respect also. So you must make these courtesies a part of your life, because they'll be helpful when you're doing jobs, children. It will be very helpful to you. Okay, and he's telling you must get accustomed to. Accustomed means you must get habituated. It must become a usual habit. It must become a part and parcel of your life. What is that? That you must give respect, at the same time must take respect. Means when you get respect, children, when you're giving respect only, you can expect respect from others. So make it a habit, he's telling. This applies even to all of us, children, and especially you all, because you all are no more children, you are adults. Okay, the same applies even to you, children. Now next, what happens? Let's see. I walked around my desk and sat in my chair. For the time being, at least, they were listening, really listening to me. Maybe they would not understand every word, that they'd get the general import of my remarks. Now, this what happened after telling them that how courtesies are very important in their life, and that they must make it a habit of giving respect and taking respect. He sat on his chair, and for that time, for that moment, he was able to understand that the children were all paying attention to him. They were listening to him, and not just acting as, they are not acting as if they are listening, but they are really listening to him. And he's telling here one more point very, very clearly, children. What is that? That might be they are not understanding each and every word that he spoke, but definitely he's sure, he's very confident that the children are getting the importance of all the remarks that he's making. He's going to get import here, means the significance or the meaning of all his remarks. Whatever he's making, talking about, whatever remarks he's making, the children were able to grasp the meaning of it. The children were able to get the importance of it. The children were able to get the significance of all his remarks. And next, the next point concerns the general deportment and conduct of the class. First, the young ladies. Now, he shifted his topic. Now, he's talking more about what? Deportment. Again, he's emphasizing on the behavior. Deportment means he's talking about the a person's behavior or manners. So here he's talking about the behavior of the class, the manners that are to be followed, the way they have to behave. So this all he's talking about, and he's referring first to the young ladies in the class. They must understand that in future they must show themselves both worthy and appreciative of the courtesies we men will show them. So here, what did he make a point? He made a point that the young ladies will be addressed as Miss. Okay. So, and he's making it a point here, telling that the young ladies must understand that in the future, they must show themselves both worthy. Now we are giving them respect and we are addressing them as Miss. So what they must do, they must show, when we are showing that respect to them and we are addressing them as Miss, those young ladies' responsibility is to show that they are also worthy of it. Worthy means they also need to show that they are in a position to be respected. That is what sir is making clear about. And he's telling appreciative means they must show the feeling of gratitude. They must show that they are very much pleased. So at the same time, when we are addressing them as Miss, they must show their gratitude. They must be thankful of these manners that we are showing towards them by the way of behavior while we are addressing them as miss. They must feel thankful also. They must show their gratitude. They must show their thankfulness for us men, because we men are calling them as miss. We are respecting them by addressing them as miss. Now, next, as Potter said, we know you. We shall want to feel proud to know you. And just how proud we feel shall entirely depend on you. So he's telling, Potter said already, when Sir said you should call the young ladies as Miss, then Potter said, we know them from very long time. We are very familiar. Why should we call them as Miss? That time, what did the Sir say? He, we must, even if you know them, you must address them by saying Miss. So one thing what you must show them is, you must show them that you are very proud to know them. Yes, we know the young ladies from a long time, but we must feel very very proud that we know you, miss. We know the young ladies, and we are feeling very proud that we know them. And how proud we are feeling that we know these young ladies will completely depend on the young ladies. They also must prove us that we are right. We are showing respect to them means, and we are telling that we are very proud to know you. The young ladies also have a responsibility. What is that? They must prove themselves that they are worthy of that respect. And moreover, that how proud we are feeling about them, that will entirely depend on the young ladies. Okay, now there are certain things which need attention. There are certain things which need attention, and I have asked Mrs. Dale Evans to discuss them with you in your domestic science period today. So, then here he is making a mention of Mrs. Dale Evans, who is the domestic science teacher. You can see here, children. Yes, this is Mrs. Dale Evans, the domestic science teacher. And here, what is he telling? He is telling that in the domestic science period, Mrs. Dale Evans will be discussing with the young ladies, and she will be discussing about what the things, there are certain things which he wants Mrs. Dale Evans to discuss with the young ladies. Why? Because he feels she is she would be better in dealing with the young ladies, and she will stress on certain things which actually the young ladies need to focus upon. Okay, this last bit was right off the cuff. Miss, off the cuff means without previous thought or preparation. Miss, this means he engaging Mrs. Dale Evans to talk with the young ladies. This was not at all pre-planned. This was not at all the thought which he has come prepared with. Okay, this came to his mind at that moment when he was discussing with the children. So it came to his mind, and he just gave a word to the young ladies that and he committed Mrs. Dale Evans to talk to the young ladies. I'd have to see Mrs. Dale Evans about it during recess, but I felt sure she'd help. So he had given a commitment that Mrs. Dale Evans would be talking to the young ladies. But he did not talk to Mrs. Dale Evans about this issue. But he was very, very confident. He was very, very sure that Mrs. Dale Evans would help him in this matter, that she is going to talk to the young ladies and talk about the things which they have to keep in mind, which they have to focus upon. Because Mr. Braithwaite felt that Mrs. Dale Evans would be the right person to discuss those things with the young ladies. So let's see what happens next. Now the boys. I have seen stevedores and longshoremen who looked a lot cleaner and tidier. So now he shifted his focus towards the boys. Now what is he telling? I have seen stevedores and longshoremen. Stevedores and longshoremen are workmen children, are workers who work at the dock and help in loading and unloading the cargo in the ship's children. So these are workers who work at the ships and they help in loading and unloading the things from the ship. So he compared the boys in the school to the stevedores and the longshoremen. Means he compared them to the workers who are working and helping in loading and unloading the ship. And he told them that those workers who were working at the ship, loading and unloading the cargo, they were looking very, very clean. They were better. They looked neat when compared to these boys in the school. Now he's telling, there is nothing weak and unmanly about clean hands and faces and shoes that were brushed, he's telling. So there's nothing weak, miss, and unmanly about having clean hands, faces, and shoes that were polished and nicely shining and brushed. And he's telling, a man who is strong and tough never needs to show it in his dressing or the way he cuts his hair. So he's telling, a man who is mentally strong, he does not need to show that he's strong. He's a tough man. He's a strong man in the way he is dressing. Means he need not show that in his dressing style or either in the way he maintains his hairstyle. It's not needed, he's telling. What is he telling more? Toughness is the quality of the mind, nothing to do with the muscles, he's telling. So here toughness refers to the mental toughness, means mentally strong. So mentally not strong, not physically. So he's telling toughness is the quality of the mind, nothing to do with the muscles. So he's talking about the mental strength, and he's not at all giving any priority to the physical strength. So a person who is mentally strong can overcome the obstacles, can face the problems that come as hurdles in their way, and he can progress in life. So he's telling one must be mentally strong, not, it's nothing is to be taken care of. Miss, physical strength is nothing. Mental strength is what matters. Even physically, if you're weak and mentally strong, you can overcome. Miss, you need not be having a six-pack body to deal with a problem. What is very important? You need a presence of mind. Miss, that will come when you're mentally strong. I suppose that in about a year or so, some of you will be thinking of girlfriends. Believe me, they will think you much I attractive with clean teeth, hands, and faces than without. He's telling what he's here little bit he's making them making whatever he wants to say, he is bringing it very close to the real life situation and telling. What is he telling? In a year or so, what you will be thinking, children? He's talking to the boys and telling, you'll be thinking of having girlfriends. So, and he's telling, do you know what kind of boyfriends the girls of girls want to? Girls would prefer to have boys who are looking very attractive. So when will a person look very attractive? When they are dressing well, when they have a nice haircut, nicely what polished shoes, yes, which are shining. And he's telling they must look attractive. What? Even the teeth, the close-up smile. We see the ad, no children. Yes, shining, sparkling white. Yes. So, miss, this speaks about how well maintained one person must be. And the girls are very smart. So whenever they're choosing a boyfriend, they'll see all this, the way he's dressing, how his hairstyle is, how his teeth are, how his hands are very clean or no, how his face is very attractive, charming or no. And he's telling girls don't prefer to have boyfriends who are not attractive, who are not having clean teeth, who don't look attractive, who don't follow cleanliness. We all know, no children, cleanliness is next to godliness. That is what is going on everywhere. Swachh Bharat. Yes. Here also that point is being stressed. I gave them a moment to digest that. So he gave some time for them to understand it. Because he told two contradictory points, if you notice here, children. He said one thing is that, what is that? If a person is mentally strong, he does not, there is no need for him. A person who is strong mentally, he need not show that he is strong in the way he dresses, he's told, and the way he cuts his hair, he told. At the same time, again he told, what is that he told? He told that he spoke about girlfriends. And that time he made one point very clear. What is that? Girls prefer boyfriends who are very neatly dressed, who are looking very attractive, who have clean teeth, hands, faces. So now here the children, that especially the boys, must be able to grasp what sir was intending to tell, what sir really wants them to understand. So he gave some time for them to understand what he told. So many things the teacher is teaching them. He's connecting them to the real life situations to make them understand better. You are the top class. The operative word is top. So here operative means to have an effect, to give more emphasis. Here the teacher E.R. Braithwaite is using the word top. He's telling children, you belong to the topmost class. You are the top class. That means you must set the standard in all the things for the rest of the school. For whether you wish it or not, the younger ones will ape everything you do or say. Now, Mr. E.R. Braithwaite is stressing and telling them that you are the senior most, you are the topmost class. So, what is your responsibility? You must set a standard, means you must be a role model for the rest of the school, for the younger children, for the younger classes. You must stand as a role model because that is your responsibility. Why it is your responsibility? Because you are the senior most. What all the juniors will do, what will the rest of the school, means the all the young ones of the lower classes, what they do, children, they try to ape here means imitate, mimic, do as someone else. Means the children, the younger children, what they do, they look at the seniors. Oh, that Anna is doing like this, that brother is doing like this sister is doing like this. So there is no need for you all to go and tell the young ones that you follow this hairstyle, you speak like this. There is no need. They just observe and just blindly follow you. Now here also you have fans, yes, film stars. Now here on the screen you can see, if you are an Allu Arjun fan, this is only for example, children, and you can see he exactly copied the hairstyle of Allu Arjun. You can see. So when here also in school, what happens, children? In school or college, what happens is the juniors, the younger ones will try to copy, try to imitate, try to mimic, try to dress the way you dress, try to follow the dressing style, your dressing style, the senior most class, what the higher class brothers and sisters are doing, they try to follow you all. Girls also, children, no exception over here. Most of the younger ones will try to follow you. They try to follow your dressing style. They try to follow your hairstyle. They try to use the words you're using. They blindly follow you. So it is your responsibility. Even in our college, we have a uniform for inter. I found many children being a little feeling awkward and embarrassing to wear the school uniform. Since our model school is in combination with school, we are having even the school children along with the college. College and school are together, and we teachers stress more and we see that you are more disciplined, you wear the uniform, you come in the right way, you behave in the right way, you follow the right hairstyle. Why? Because it is your responsibility. It is you who are going to set an example for the rest of the class. So if you follow the right way, the others will blindly follow you, and if you're following the right way, they will blindly follow the right way. That is why we teachers insist you seniors to follow the right way of dressing, right way of speaking, everything. To we expect you to do the right things. Now see what happens next. They will try to walk like you and use words you use. And so, for long as you are here, much of their conduct will be your responsibility. So here E.R. Braithwaite is telling children, the behavior of the younger children is your responsibility. The way the younger children are behaving is just because how you are behaving. What words they are using is just depending on what words you're using. So you be mindful about the words you're using. You bear always in your mind that you are the senior most and you're the topmost class, and so you must set a good example for the younger children of the school. As the top class, you must be top in cleanliness, deportment, courtesy, and work. Here the teacher is making very, very, very crystal clear to the senior most class. What is he telling? What is he telling? He's telling children, you are the top class and you must be the top in what? Cleanliness. Give importance to cleanliness, because cleanliness is next to godliness. We know that. Yes? And deportment means how we are behaving, how we are conducting ourselves at home, in school, or college. All depends, because the place of learning is only school, children. Most of the time you spend here in the school. So you being the topmost class, set a good example. Set the right example for the younger ones to follow. And next he says about courtesies. Courtesies that are to be followed. The polite behavior, the rules, the guidelines that are to be followed for right behavior, you follow them. And work, whatever work you take up, how we are going to execute that work, how we are going to take up the task, how we are going to complete it. Set the right kind of example for the younger ones. That he is making it very, very clear. The teacher, E.R. Braithwaite, is making it very clear to the children. I shall help you in every way I can, both by example and encouragement. Here, the teacher is promising them one thing. He's telling, I'll help you, children. Whatever I want you all to do, what I'm going to do, I myself will follow it. As a teacher, I am expecting this from you all. You children must do this, I'm telling you. So, when I'm preaching, means when I'm telling you to do, I'm also going to follow it. I'm going to set myself as an example. I'm going to see that I also follow what I am preaching, what I am telling you to do. I'm going to follow, and I'm going to place myself as an example for y'all. And moreover, one thing more I will be doing. What is that? I'm going to encourage y'all. I'm going to inspire y'all. I'm going to motivate y'all in all the things you do in maintaining the class as the top class, in cleanliness, in the way you behave, in the courtesies that you follow, and in the work that you take up. In all these things, what I am expecting from you, the same things I will follow. Okay. Now, next, I believe that you have it in you to be a fine class. It depends on you. Till now, he told you are the top class, top class, top class. And now he's telling you have all the qualities of not just being the top class, but being the fine class. What's a fine class? Fine class is a responsible class. Fine class is a class that gives importance for cleanliness, that gives importance for behavior, that gives importance for courtesies, that gives importance for the work they are doing, the way they are doing, how they are doing. Means they are going to be the best class. A fine class means well-mannered class, following all courtesies, everything up to the mark. So that he's telling It'll all depend on you. Means it'll depend on the senior most class. It depends on the students of the senior most class. It depends on the students of the top class. So it all depends on you. Means how you are going to behave, how you are going to show the courtesies, what words you are going to use, what is the dressing style you are going to follow, what is the hairstyles you are going to follow. So you it to make your class from top class to the fine class, or you can say the finest class. It is you and you and you are the whole and sole responsible persons. Now any questions, the teacher asked. Now what happened? A hand shot up. Now whose hand is this? Yes, Miss Joseph. Now you can see a girl raised her hand, and that girl's name is what? Miss Joseph. You can see on the screen, children. Yes, yes, she is Miss Joseph. Now, what is her objection? Let's see. What about Mr. Weston? He is never tidy and his shoes are never clean, sir. Now, what is her objection? She is telling, sir, did you see Mr. Weston? Who is Mr. Weston? You can see on the screen, children. He is also a teacher in the school here. He is Mr. Weston. He is a teacher in the school. And now this girl by the name Miss Joseph is pointing out at the teacher called Mr. Weston and telling that he is never tidy. Means he never comes neatly dressed to the school. He's never neat. Okay. And moreover, his shoes are never polished. They are very untidy. They're not clean. Sir, she said. Now you should observe here one thing, children. When Potter spoke to the teacher, that is E.R. Braithwaite, first time he did not use the word sir. Second time he used the word sir, but there was a delay, there was a pause. But the third time he used it. So now here you find a drastic change. You find a lot of change in the behavior of the children. Now when it came to Miss Joseph, you can see there's no pause, there's no mention about that the word sir was used with a pause or a delay. Nothing. It came with a flow. What about Mr. Weston? He's never tidy and his shoes are never neat, clean, sir. So it came in a flow. Miss, the whole class has turned into what you can see the change. The change is very clearly visible. Potter changed. Yes, he got the habit of addressing him as the teacher as sir. Now, when it came to Miss Joseph, it came out very naturally. So they started respecting sir. They started respecting sir. They started following the instructions that were given by the teacher, that is E.R. Braithwaite. So what had changed? It is really appreciable. The students also have changed for the better. Now, things were looking up already. The sir came easily. Now, there was no pause, no delay. So, it came so naturally. Means the children got used to what the teacher has told. They started giving respect to him and they obeyed what to the words that were told by the teacher. Miss Joseph addressed him as sir. So, he was very happy. When will a teacher be happy? When the students obey and follow. So even we teachers insist and all the while teach you not only just the subject or the language, children. We insist on all these. We correct so many things. We tell you so many things apart from the subject and the language. Yes or no, children? This is because this is a place of learning. Because here it is this place where you are told very often, children, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, because most of the time you spend here in the school or college, and you will remember us children for, because we are the people whose job is not just to teach you the subject or the language. Here we are there to mold your character. That is very, very important for us, because everything will fall into place if this one thing is corrected. So we lay a lot of stress on your behavior. Now Mr. Weston is a teacher, Miss Joseph, and we shall not discuss him. So Mr. Braithwaite, what is he telling? Look, Miss Joseph, we will not talk about Mr. Weston. Why? Because Mr. Weston is a teacher and we will not talk about him. Leave him. Okay, we are not going to discuss about him. Now, there was a murmur of dissent at this. Now, what is the reaction of the whole class when Mr. Braithwaite said that Mr. Weston is a teacher and we are not going to talk about him or discuss anything about him? Disagreement. Dissent means disagreement. They did not agree, because when Mr. Braithwaite said that they must give a lot of importance to cleanliness and all that, easily what the children are very observing, no, they notice everything, what, how each teacher comes, huh? Yes or no? So what struck to their mind, they did not point out any student in the class, they just pointed out a teacher who was not coming neatly dressed and who was not coming to school with neatly polished shoes. They pointed out at this, at Mr. Weston. So this Mr. Braithwaite did not want to uh, discuss, because Mr. Weston is a teacher and he was also a teacher. So he had to keep, he had to, he did not want Mr. Weston to fall down before the eyes of the children. He didn't want to belittle Mr. Weston. He did not want the children to look down upon Mr. Weston. So he simply gave one simple answer to them, just by saying that Mr. Weston is a teacher and we are not going to discuss about him. So the reaction was what? A murmuring was going on in the class. Everybody was showing their disagreement. How can sir say like that, and all that was going on, and they, no one was agreeing with the comment of Mr. Braithwaite. I am your teacher and I am the one who should criticize if I fail to maintain the standards I demand of you. So here he is making it very, very clear. What is Mr. Braithwaite saying? Children, I am your teacher. And if I told you that I am going to set myself as an example for you, and it is me who is expecting you all to follow all these things. So I promise that I am going to be an example for you all. So if you want to criticize here means to find fault. If you really want to find fault, you find that faults with me. You have all the right to find and point your finger at me, not at any other teacher. Because as a teacher, I am expecting this, these all things from you. And I told I am going to be an example for you all. So you have the right to point out at me. So you definitely find fault with me. You can criticize me. You find fault with me only. Okay. If I fail to maintain the standards, if I fail to maintain the things which all I am expecting from you all. Okay. There was an absence of the silent hostility of yesterday. When he newly entered the class, we saw that there was some opposition. Means the children were not agreeing with him, or there was little a bit of unfriendly environment. Okay, but that was absent now. Means there was a kind of bonding being building up between the teacher and the students. So there was a very good sign of good relationship developing between the teacher and the students. I felt that I had somehow won for myself a breathing space at least. So he's telling now a breathing space means a short period of rest. So much of topic was being discussed, so much of serious matter was being discussed. So now he found little bit of relaxation. So the teacher had some breathing space, a short period of relaxation he had. There were no further questions, so I told them they would spend the remaining minutes of the period considering and discussing the things I had said, providing they did so quietly. So, after this, all the serious topic went on between the teacher and the students. Then what happened? There were no questions asked. The last question that was put forward was by Miss Joseph. Yes. Then no children posed any questions. So now the teacher gave them the permission, because still time was left for the period to end. He told them to have a discussion among themselves about what all the various topics they dealt about in the class that day. But he laid down a condition, providing, means he put a condition. What was that condition? That they are not going to make noise, that they are going to have the discussion in very quietly, without disturbing and without making a lot of noise. I sat back and observed them. At recess, I went to the staff room and told Mrs. Dale Evans how I had impulsively committed her to a talk with the girls. So now, when the children were having discussion, and he gave them the permission to have the discussion, and he told them to do it very calmly without making a lot of noise. What did he do? He sat back and he was just observing the children. And after the period was over, it was a break time, children. Recess means it's a break, a pause, a time of play, like short break how we have. So it was a break time. So what is the first thing Mr. Braithwaite did? He went to the staff room. And whom did he meet? He met the domestic science teacher. You can see here on the screen, Mrs. Dale Evans. And he told her, because he already told the children that in the domestic science period, Mrs. Dale Evans was going to discuss about certain things that were very, very important. Okay, so this he committed Mrs. Dale Evans to talk with the young girls without taking her permission, because he didn't go with the planning. It just came to his mind at that moment, and he just told the young ladies that Mrs. Dale Evans was going to talk about a few things with the young ladies, because he felt Mrs. Dale Evans would do that job better than him. He felt that Mrs. Dale Evans was apt, means was the most suitable person to talk about the things that really those young girls needed to know. So impulsively here means acting suddenly without thinking of the results. Means he didn't actually think about Mrs. Dale Evans, and without thinking, just at that point of time, it came to his mind, and he just gave a commitment, not from Mrs. Dale Evans' side, because he didn't speak to her, nor he asked her permission. Just it came to his mind at that moment, and he made a commitment to the young ladies that Mrs. Dale Evans was going to speak to them about the important things that the young girls had to bear in their mind. Now, what happened when Mrs. Dale Evans knew about the commitment? What was her reaction? She was quite pleased about it and promised to lay it on thick. To lay it on thick means emphasize. She did not get angry. She was not annoyed or irritated because Mr. Braithwaite did not take a permission and all that. She was very glad. She was ready to help. And Mr. Braithwaite also was very confident that Mrs. Dale Evans was going to help him. And exactly the same thing happened. She was very glad. She was very pleased to talk to the young ladies, and she made a promise to Braithwaite that she is going to focus on all the things. She's going to emphasize, and she's going to lay so much of focus on those things which are really needed by the young ladies, so that it will be helpful for them. So here Mrs. Dale Evans did not disappoint Mr. Braithwaite. Braithwaite had confidence in Mrs. Dale Evans, and as per his commitment to the young girls, even Mrs. Dale Evans accepted the proposal to talk to the young ladies. Yes, children, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. This is because this is very close to your real life situation. You could have faced a new teacher entering your class, and some of you might even get connected to the characters in this story. It's not a story, it's a real life experience of E.R. Braithwaite. Some might have got connected to Mrs. Pamela Dare, some might have got connected to Potter, some with Miss Joseph, some with Senham. Yes or no, children? Definitely. This is very close to your real life. You read part 2 and 3, children, of the text, and once again, from examination point of view, and even for your own benefit, you need to know these idioms and phrases. So just let us just brush up, let us just revise once again these idioms and phrases that we came across in section 2 and 3 of this lesson, children. As we already know, idiom is a group of words whose meaning is different from the meaning of the individual words, and phrase is a small group of words standing together as a unit. So why idioms and phrases are made use of, we have discussed. Once again, I'll tell you, children, idioms and phrases, if they are not used, the language is not lively. We use only this words simply, and it becomes so boring to read. When these idioms and phrases, or even for that sense proverbs, quotations are used, it becomes very interesting, children. So idioms, and especially idioms and phrases, they add meaning, they beautify the language, they give a clarity even to the reader and the one who is writing also. Now pictorially I have shown two idioms, children. See here, this is what a person is on the number 9. This is actually an idiom which is on cloud 9. It is on cloud 9. Okay, when are you on cloud 9? Actually, what does this mean? On cloud 9 means in a state of extreme happiness. Okay, cloud 9 means, on cloud 9 means in a state of extreme happiness. Now, how can we use this in a sentence? When I got a job, I was on cloud 9. Means when I got a job, I was extremely happy, it means. Now here one more idiom you can see. What is this? It is raining all cats and dogs. Here it doesn't mean that when it is raining all cats and dogs are falling. It means raining very heavily. Done, children? Okay, now we'll look at the idioms and phrases that we have come across in section 2 and 3 of the lesson. Let's once again revise them. With one accord. The meaning of with one accord means doing same thing at same time. Now here it can be used in a sentence like this, children. With one accord, they all stood up and cheered. Means they clapped. All of them doing the same action of cheering up, and at the same time they're doing it. Now, off the cuff. What's the meaning of off the cuff? Off the cuff means without previous thought or preparation. Now, it can be used in a sentence like this. Some people are able to give a speech off the cuff. Means some people, they do not write down what they are going to speak about because they are very good at giving speeches. So, what do we say? Some people are able to give a speech off the cuff without any preparation. Now, let us come to lay it on thick. Lay it on thick means emphasize, to stress upon, to pay more attention to. What is that? How can we use that in a sentence? Everyone should lay it on thick regarding the rules to be followed. So, lay it on thick. Lay it on thick means emphasizing, paying more attention. Now, a breathing space, a short period of rest in the middle of the task. So, a period of relaxation. Now, how it can be used in a sentence? After finishing one job, she needed a breathing space before starting the next. So she has taken up a job and she left that job. Now she's going to take up a new job. So between this leaving and taking up the next job, she needed some period of relaxation. That is breathing space. Means a period of relaxation. And one thing you must note it down, children, you must know the meaning. But when you're framing your own sentence, even in the exam, you're not going to use the meaning. You're going to just use the idiom or phrase as it is. That's why I have made it in bold and showed you. Lay it on thick, breathing space we are using, but we are not making use of the meaning and writing the sentence. Now, in, in section 1, in section 2, in section 3, 1, 2, or 3, here we see that what is mainly being talked about. What is mainly being talked about is behavior. Behavior, behavior, behavior. Why? Because this matters a lot. It tells what kind of a person you are. It makes you a gentleman. So it will different because man is a social animal. So what differentiates us from the animals is our behavior. So here we have seen in part 1 how we have to behave in the classroom. So let us know few more things how to behave and why we should behave also. Let us know. Now etiquette we have seen. Etiquette is nothing but the good behavior, the polite behavior, the manners that we have to follow, the rules that we have to follow for good conduct, for good behavior. Now we'll see. In the first part we have seen what is that? When a person is talking, when the teacher is talking or when a person is talking, you must first be listening without interrupting. Then when one completes their speech or lesson or talking, then you must speak. And in the class, when you are speaking, when you want to raise a question or when you want to put forward a doubt, what you got to do, you all of you, once the teacher has finished her explanation, all of you cannot stand up and just keep on asking your questions or doubts. What is the thing you have to follow? It was told, raise your hand. Raise your hand and the teacher is going to point out at anyone, and one at a time can talk. So that will is very good way of communication, and it is considered to be good manners also, children, because things will get communicated in the right way when you do the things in the right way. And we have seen about not chewing of no chewing gums in the class, that we have to put the things properly in the class. Yes, now few more we'll see. And we have seen that we must take permission, we must apologize if we are late. Yes, now we see few more etiquettes. Knocking before entering the room. Even in a home, it's manners, children. We are, if a door is closed, what is the first thing you got to do is knock it. So if the other person is really uh, interested in meeting you, or he may be busy also, so it is always a good sign. It is always considered to be good manners to first knock the door and enter a room. You just can't enter a room, anybody's room, just like that. Not opening the mail of others. This is the tech world, all world of internet and mails and all. So you must have the manners of not looking into the mails of others which do not belong to you. Don't even try to open them. It is considered to be bad manners if you open the mails of others. Not looking through other people's belongings. If the things do not belong you, it is not your property. You don't have any right to open the bags when they're not there. Take the books of others without their permission. Not taking or borrowing articles without asking permission. Even if it is your classmate, even if you know the other person well, what is the thing you got to do? If you're taking their things, if you're borrowing a book or a pen or notes, please take the permission. If they give the permission, with their permission only you got to take or borrow others things, children. Be helpful to others in your home, even in school also. You must be helpful at right time and right places. Okay, you must be helpful to our family members, helping down in the small way, whatever is possible, helping your mother in cooking, helping your father in doing the household chores, works, work. So you can do all these things, children. And moreover, even in the school, you can help each other while writing notes or helping them in understanding the lesson better. But one thing you must remember, children, you shouldn't help them during exams. Help them whatever is possible during the, that is before the exams, not in the exam, not in the examination hall. Please bear this in mind, children. Saying please and thank you or excuse me, these are called the magic words, children. Sorry, please, thank you, excuse me. So use these magic words. These magic words will change the your behavior. It will show the world that you are well mannered. Simple small words: please, thank you, excuse me. Okay. Sorry is a word you children make use of n number of times. And let me make you very clear, you must apologize, children. And when you're telling sorry, what is the real meaning of sorry? Sorry means I will not repeat it again. You remember this also, children. Okay. Next, sharing and not grabbing. Supposing you are sharing your lunch, what you're going to do? Share it, children. Don't grab it, miss. Don't take it by force. Share whatever you're having, share it in a very decent way, respecting other people's property and their rooms. So when the property means, it can be anything, children, their wallet, their purse, their bags. So don't touch them without their permission. You should respect their privacy. Okay. And helping the family by doing your task. Help your family members. Help your teachers in doing their work. Okay. Teachers talk, teachers will do. In small ways which you can help is communicate, pass on the information. Okay. They have table manners. Means there's a proper way of eating, even at home or even in the class, not spilling out the food. Okay. The way you sit, the way you, especially the way you chew, children, that is very, very important in table manners. You should not make an disturbing and what annoying sound while chewing. Now, during COVID times, children, there are etiquettes that have to be followed. Okay, this is for our personal benefit, and we are living in a society, children. So we have social responsibility. So during this pandemic time, during this COVID time, what do you need to follow? Wash your hands or use the hand sanitizer and wear a mask while on campus. So this is very, very important, children. And the foremost thing, even not only during COVID time, even any time, anywhere you are, you cover your mouth or nose when you cough or sneeze. When you cough or sneeze, I have seen so many children, they just cough and spread. And when they sneeze also, they do it so openly. Yawning also, in front of everyone. Please, that's considered to be very, very ill-mannered. If you are ill-mannered only, you will be doing this. So please learn good manners. Cover your mouth. Okay. Please do that. Not only during this pandemic time, every time, every day. Make it a usual habit. If actually these are the healthy habits we must follow every day. But the COVID has reminded us because we have become very irresponsible. So it is teaching us again what we got to do. Now, and moreover, it's our social responsibility to maintain social distancing. Okay. And even if you're sick, children, it is our social responsibility. It's our moral responsibility to go to the doctor. And if we are tested to be positive, there's nothing to go panic, children, because this is the problem that the whole world is facing with. If really you are tested to be COVID positive, you inform your friends, if you inform your family members, you inform your colleagues, you inform your relatives, because in that way you are helping them, you are sending them a positive sign that they will be careful. So children, with that very good lesson and so many things we have learned from classroom to home to the dining table to the pandemic atmosphere we have talked about, you have a bit of work to do. Very simple. I'm very confident that all my children will be able to do the same thing. Of section 2 and section 3 of the lesson, you are going to make a note of the idioms first, write down the meanings, and make use of them in your own sentences. Since you know the meaning, you will be very easily able to write and frame your own sentences. And next, once you're done with your idioms, next you're going to make a note of all the phrases that you come across in section 2 and section 3 of this lesson, and you're going to write down the meanings and you're going to frame your own sentences. And after you do that bit, next question is you're going to put down in your own words what did you really understand by toughness is a quality of the mind, nothing to do with the muscles. You write it in your own words. What you really understood when I was explaining regarding this particular statement. Now, you are in senior intermediate. Yes, children. So, being in the senior most class, how would you set a good example for the rest of the school? Just write it down and keep this pandemic situation in your mind where online classes are going, how you can motivate the younger ones. This also you make a mention in your answer, children. I I am very confident my children have really understood the lesson. So they are going to do the assignment without anybody's help. They are going to do on their own. Now, everything we have enjoyed the lesson, we have done with the idioms and phrases, we have done with the vocabulary. Now, what is more important is examination. Marks are also important. So, what are the things you have to bear in your mind when you get these annotations, children? So whenever you have the lines given for the annotations, you are going to find out some words from those annotations which are related to the name of the lesson, or how easily you can remember that these words are coming from this lesson. Since we have done this particular lesson, it becomes very easy for us when we are annotating them, because we know that these annotations belong to this lesson. But when you are writing the exam, you get annotations from all different lessons coming in one section. So there you must be able to identify that these annotations are coming from the lesson to serve with love. So you pick up some key words from each annotation. This is one tip, children. And when you are writing the annotation, you got to write it in a particular format. First thing, you're going to write the reference as the side heading, where you are going to give the introduction. There you are going to mention about the name of the lesson and the name of the author. And here you make it a point to see that you are going to write the name of the lesson as it is and write the name of the author without any spelling error, children. Next side heading will be context. What you're going to write in this context, children? You're going to, whatever lines are given for your annotation, there you're going to answer to these following questions related to those lines that are given for your annotation. When were those lines told? Where they were told? Why they were told? How they were told? So these answers to these questions with respect to the lines that are given for annotation will become the context of your annotation. Next, you're going to write the side heading as meaning. What are you going to write in this meaning, children? You're going to write what is being conveyed by the author in those lines, what the author want to say in those lines that are given for annotation. You're going to write. This is purely you're going to write from the author's point of view. And in critical comment, herein you have a chance here to express your views. Here you have the chance to express your perspective along with the author's view. You can make a mention about the author's view along with your views. Your views and author's views can be put forward in critical comment, children. And moreover, you have learned idioms and phrases, so you can use them here. And moreover, those proverbs, quotations, you can use wherever necessary and without any errors. And when you're answering the question, children, write legibly, means write very clearly. Let your handwriting be clear. And write the name of the lesson and the author. Mention what is the lesson all about in just one or two lines, children. Don't make it a very lengthy answer. What is the whole lesson about? Okay. Here now, for example, if you take To Serve with Love, it is talking about the experience of a teacher with students who are not well mannered. One single line. That's it. Or two at the most. And you make sure that your presentation is very good. A good presentation will give a good impression. So that will give you a good score, good marks, that is. Ensure that there are no grammatical errors and no spelling errors. So when you're learning, learn with the right spellings. And here also, like for the annotation, make use of the idioms and phrases, proverbs and quotations wherever necessary in the right place. And here, since here many children will be making a blunder mistake, children. What is that is because you know very well all the question answers and all the annotations so well. Here you cannot keep on dumping whatever information you have. You read the question, you read the annotation, and what is needed for that particular annotation, what is needed for that particular question that you have to answer. Only limit yourself to that much of information only. Don't dump unnecessary information because you know everything. Please avoid that because time factor. You cannot waste time, children. Hope you enjoyed. Do the assignment. We'll meet you soon. Thank you, children. Bye.
Thank you, Mrs. Rupa Madam. It was a wonderful session of To Serve with Love. Expecting more sessions from you. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, ma'am.